So we are on Parshat Toldot. Today we started Parshat Toldot, and this is the first day after Sarah. The story is that Avram was handing the stick, the leading, to Yitzchak. But it actually means that the whole world was moving from Avram way of operation to Yitzchak. And the connection between Avram and Yitzchak, the way what was exactly ended over to Yitzchak. Kabbalistically, there is a concept that maybe you already heard it. It's called Ichud Ma Uban. The unity of those two elements, Ma and Ban. So I want to explain about them. Those two, this concept, this title, Ichud Ma Uban, Bezrat Hashem, after we're going to talk about it, is going to be easy. It's going to be part of your life. Bezrat Hashem. This concept is mainly discussed over the Parsha of Sarah, and the result is Parshat Toldot. Sarah brings to Toldot. So let's see what we're talking about. Every discussion of Torah obviously starts with speaking about God, speaking about Hashem. Because we're not talking about wisdom that is just wisdom. Our job in this world is to reveal God. And as we reveal God in the world, the world will become more and more peaceful and cooperative and purposeful. So when we have a long talk, we must remember that the purpose of that talk is to reveal God in the world. The concept of Ichud Ma'uban specifically will help us to be in touch more with with the idea of bringing God into the world, to reveal God. So, unity of Ma'uban. Yichud is unity, but first we need to understand unity between what and what. So when God created the world, let's take those three words, Anochi Avaye Eloikecha. Those three words manifest in words, the concept of a godly revelation in the creation. I am your God. Kabbalistically, those three words, each one of them stands for a higher level of godliness, for a different level, but heights. In order to understand those three levels, we need to use, in order to really get into it, we need to use an analogy from our own selves. So the analogy is going to be, look at your fingers. You see? Look how many powers we have in our fingers. Okay? For example, the ability to move the finger just like this. Just this. This is a power. It's power. It's an ability. In Hebrew, the word koach is power, ability. We have many, many powers. We have many, many powers. Throughout the body, we have many, many powers, many, many abilities. So let's call it multiple abilities, many abilities, or in the ancient Hebrew, in the Bible Hebrew, Elokim. Elokim are powers. To be more exact, powers and vitalities. Koach v'chayut. We have many, many abilities. But look what I said. I didn't say we are. We have. We have many abilities. It's not who we are. We are able to move our finger. But we are much more than that. I'll explain, but first I want to dwell a little bit more on the word Elokim. Elokim, powers. When a person is busy with when a person is implementing a certain ability of his, we call it focusing. Okay, when a person is doing choreography, when a person is even writing something, he's using a certain ability. What kind of ability we use when we write? Not the hand, the brain. The hand, the brain is flowing through the hand. The hand is not, it's not the, but anyway, the brain is using a certain ability. The focus is in the brain, but certain ability. What happens when a person is focused on something? It goes without saying, when we are focused on one thing, we forget about another thing. In other words, we become narrow-aided. We are narrowed, which it could be bad. It really means for good. The purpose is good. The purpose is right. We need to be able to narrow ourselves, to limit ourselves in time, in space, using certain abilities and forget about other abilities. Okay? We want to focus on learning, forget about everything else. Now you're learning. Is that means that there's nothing else but learning? There is other things. Ultimately, alevai, that everything else will be included in learning. When you learn, so then everything else will be considered as part of your learning. The whole world will dance with you as you dance, you know. That's the best. But there is other things. So the difference between Klippa and Kedusha, that Kedusha, when a person is focused, so it doesn't mean that he chooses one thing over the other, but it means that he emphasizes one thing over the other. Meaning the other abilities become servants of that particular ability. Okay? Meaning when a person learns, so then all of the other powers are leveled according to his learning. For example, he can walk, yes, but if it helps the learning, he will walk. If it's not, he's not going to walk. Walking becomes subjected to the learning. And the same thing with other things. Focusing is good, but he has a problem, a major problem. When someone is focused, he can forget that there is other things. The unity is not is not so much when you focus, but when you see the whole. Why are we focusing? Because we want to manifest something very high in a model, in a small form, fine. But the danger is there. There is a danger that things will, that a person is going to be too focused, is going to forget about the whole. Now let's talk about the whole. The whole is the name of Havaya. Havaya in Hebrew means being. Havaya. Havaya means a being. To be. To be is not to do. To be. This experience of being is a holistic experience. And this experience includes those many abilities. Okay? Those many abilities that we have, moving our fingers, writing, thinking, speak, walk, and many more. It's all included in our being. Now, so now we know what Havaya is. Havaya is a general sense of being. And Elokim is not general sense. It's specific sense. Very specific. When a person feels his finger, so everything about him, so to speak, not really everything, we must understand, but it's like everything is going to the finger. When the finger hurts, or when the finger needs attention, or when the finger is doing its thing, everything rearranges itself according to it, and it's kind of if things are totally not, or almost totally not, doesn't have a direct connection with this specific power, so they can be forgotten almost. They exist even. That's why we say in Yom Kippur, we say Havaye hu Elokim, which also means Elokim hu Havaye. There's more than one meaning to it, but the point is that our job is to realize and to always be in touch and connected to the idea, to the concept, or to our holistic being, and therefore every specific act which involves specific powers will be clearly a manifestation of that being, and not just separate and totally be totally immersed in something in such a way that it captures part of us and leaves other part behind, which in other words it's called separateness, to create a separateness between us, among ourselves, inside of ourselves. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. So when we say שהכל נהיה בדברו, it always, remember, right? שהכל נהיה בדברו has to do with הוויה. Same thing, הוויה אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו, same thing. Anyway, now that's Havaya. Havaya is a sense of being, general being, and again, the Elokim should come out of Havaya, and should be obvious that Elokim is subjected to Havaya. Meaning, when I use my leg, when I use my fingers, I'm actually manifesting something about my being, and I'm not only going out of myself and go and focused on one thing to the extent that I forget about everything else. This was by us on an individual scale, on a personal scale, take it and make it bigger on the whole world. Same thing. All of us are powers. Each one of us is a power, a manifestation of life and power, of a specific. For each one of us we have our talents, we have our uniquenesses, and we are like God's fingers, God's legs. Okay, different things that reveal God in a different manner. And we should always remember that Havaya Elokeinu Havaya Echad. We should always remember that Havaya, the being, the one being, Havaya is singular. Elokeinu or Elokim is multiple. Havaya hu Elokeinu, and Havaya is one. Okay. So the same thing and that's how we're not going to have any wars anymore. Because why we have wars in the world? Because people are too into what they come to do, and they're too focused, and they forget all of us are actually manifest one being. Havaya Echad, we all manifest one being, and that Havaya is our life and vitality and power. Meaning, let's go back to the individual, to a personal scale. If someone, God forbid, cut this piece of finger of himself, obviously, even we don't think for a second that he actually cuts the power out of the person. The physicality lives, but the spiritual power of the ability to move the finger, it doesn't go with the finger. It stays attached to the being, because the power comes from the being. It moves the finger, but it manifests the physical, but it comes from the being. So there is no real way. It's an illusion to try and separate, try to come and say, I'm unique to the extent that nothing else is important but me. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to try to do so. Right when a person is doing that, this is the beginning of himself dying, because the spiritual, the truth about him is that he manifests the being, the higher being, and while he's doing it, he's alive. If he's to himself, he says nothing else important but my functionality, my talent, my ability. He basically cuts himself off, and then the physical stays and deteriorates, the spiritual God is still part of God, and then God will create a new body with a new chance of implementing that particular power. This is the story of reincarnation. God gives us another chance. God gives another body to the same soul because the previous body didn't do it the way it was supposed to be done. Meaning he was too into himself and didn't have enough awareness of being a servant of the whole, a servant of God. Now we spoke about Havaya Elokeinu. Obviously, God Himself, Anoichi, the self of God. This is the concept. Self. The self of God is higher than even Havaya, because the sense of God, because God Himself, so to speak, is not even a sense of anything. He's not even an awareness, which is even totalitarian, but it's actually like it's not. Meaning it's like a situ, it's like a base. That on that God builds the levels of Havaya and then Elokim. Now that we said that, I want to dwell a little bit on Havaya. We said that the sense of being, the higher being. This higher being, the name of Havaya, is divided to 4 general Havayot. In other words, in this world, or in the creation, or in the universe, you could say, there are 4 types, very general types, because you can basically 4 categories, that all of the creatures are considered to be one of the experiencing one of those experiences. Havaya is a holistic experience, basically. And there are 4 types of holistic experiences. How did we get to 4? Where did we get that from? The 4 are the secret of the one. What is the secret? What do you mean a secret? A secret is something that you unfold out of the one. So let's see. If you take the words Havaya, Havaya in the sequence of the letters Hey Vav Yud Hey Havaya, it's being. It's a being. But something much higher than that is when the sequence is Yud K Vav K. I'm changing the letters from Hey to Kuf, Yud K Vav K, because it's a holy name. Yud K Vav K stands for to make to be. To make to be. And when God makes to be, He makes us in 4 ways. Where did we get the 4? So let's unfold the Yud Ke Vav Ke. What do you mean to unfold it? We take the Yud, okay? We take the Yud, we take the Yud and we're gonna unfold it, meaning we're gonna put a Vav and a Dalet into it. We're gonna put a Vav, we're gonna add a Vav and Dalet. This is what it means to unfold, because the Vav and Dalet are there. It's just that when you say it, you don't think about them. It's not in your immediate consciousness, but they are there. We say Yud, it's Yud Vav Dalet. So this is the unfolding of the Yud. And that's Begimatria Yud Vav Dalet is Begimatria 20. Okay, it's 20. Then the Hey. Let's take the Hey. What is the unfolding? It's called in Kabbalah Milui, the stuff, like the stuffed chicken. This is what inside. So what do you suggest? What should I put in the A? Huh? So you say another Hey, and what do you say? Hey and a Yud. Any other option? Aleph. So we basically have 3 options. It's either a Hey, or a Aleph, or a Yud. Okay, Hey, Hey, or He. Okay, what are we gonna put with the Vav? So Vav, Parmaim Vav. Any more suggestions?